Hello, well today I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw hair tutorial. Also, before we start, I just want to say that I apologize about the screen because this is the best I can do for the time being, as my laptop is broken and I can't really screen record properly. So this is the best I can do for now. But if you can't watch it, then I apologize. I'm gonna do better, and I'm gonna probably make another one in the future where the screen is properly recorded. So this is all I can do for the time being, and if you're okay with that, then please continue watching. Thank you. So I'm going to be demonstrating on two perspectives, the side view and the front view. And I'll be drawing two hairstyles on each of them, one framing the face and the other one slick back. To start off, you notice that I have an egg head looking shape. I prefer it actually because it helps me visualize the flow of the hair rather than a complete full circle. I'm gonna just be showing you how I understand it, and I'm going to first start off by drawing hair on this front view. So let's divide it into parts. So firstly, the hair can be parted in many ways. It can be parted in the middle or either side. Now the hairline can differ. The hairline can be like this, or it could be closer. Depends on how you want it, but I'm just gonna keep it basic right now so that it'll be easier for you to understand in general. So what I'm gonna do is I like to start off by framing the face rather than figuring out where the sections are. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna first frame it. Usually this M here, I will do this because this is like where the hair connects to the middle part that comes off from here. So I'm gonna frame first either side. Also, I'm just gonna quickly show you how I use my brush. So instead of applying hard pressure and getting these two very dark spots, I will just flick my wrist and then I'll have that faded look to my brush stroke. Now, since I've already have the first two framing pieces of hair, I'm gonna start to imagine the bigger sections of hair. So I want my hair to have a flow that is like more natural, so I'm gonna do that. I also like to change up the size of my brushes so that it will look more natural in a way. And since this is just a sketch and my end result doesn't really look like the sketch, I'm just giving it a basic idea of how I want it to look like. So I didn't like that, sorry. So I'm gonna do this. I'm going to just add on very rough details. And I also have these little spaces between the hair to make it feel more natural, I guess. So I'm just gonna continue to draw the hair, frame the face. So I'll just quickly speed up this process so you don't have to waste your time watching me frame much of anything. I've framed majority of the face. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add the sections over here, and usually you can imagine it as like the hair connecting at this center point here, and it can go different ways. Sometimes it will go like this, sometimes it can come off directly from this line here, but I'm going to just have it around the center point today. And I haven't really decided what kind of hair I want to give him yet, so doing this will help me understand it better. So instead of like really connecting it like this, I just have it like roughly up like this. That way it'll be easier for me to understand. And just think of it as huge sections. So remember that this is just the top of the head. It doesn't end there, like the hair doesn't end there. So it can be more fluffy like this, or it could be more diverse. And sometimes there's like the swoop of the hair that can differ. So I'm just going to add more dimension to it. Now like I said, the hair doesn't end here and we still have this part of the head left. So just add more hair, like more sections. Like to draw stray hair like this as well. Now I'm just going to erase, I'm going to erase the top part here. And then, yeah, that's the hair. And there you have it. You have proper hair. This is where the section is. You can see here, here. The section is here, 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 and here. But here's a better visual of how hair can be broken down into different sections. However, I'm gonna be showing you how I color those different sections later. But now I'm just going to be showing you how I draw the slick back hair on a front-facing perspective. So now I'm gonna start off by sectioning the hair into 3 parts, following the flow to the back of the head, because with this kind of hairstyle, the hair naturally curves into the back of the head because this is a pushed back slick hairstyle. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna follow those sections and gonna make the hair flow in that, following that direction. And then at this point it's best to use references because I used my imagination for this and I was struggling for a bit, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it's best to use references to understand how these sections would work. So I'm just gonna fast forward this part a little bit and get back to when it's completed. So now that we're done with the front perspective, I'm gonna show you how to draw hair on the side view. And usually with the side view, it can be either like how I said, that the hairline can be from this top here or from the side. But for this one, I'm gonna be drawing from the top. So again, I'm gonna frame the face. So right now I'm just gonna draw his hair tucked behind his ears with like a few strands coming out, and I'm just going to fast forward this part as usual. Now that I'm done, I'm going to section off the other side of his part, his head part, and then I'm going to just frame it, imagining the hair falling on the other side of his face. And so right now I'm just making those big sections to be able to understand once again the flow of the hair, and I'll just fast forward this again. But yeah, you can see right now I'm just trying to imagine how the hair would flow down from the top of his head. So now that I'm done, I'm just going to erase the hairline and fix it up a little bit, and then I'm going to move on to the slick back hairstyle for the side view. Okay, so I may have recorded the sequence wrong, but I'm still gonna show you how I drew the other hairstyle, and I'm just gonna do it in a time-lapse form. So here's how I quickly drew the other hairstyle following these arrows, so you know that the flow of the hair is already understandable. So yeah, I'm just going to draw following these guidelines, and yeah, that's about it. This is a very straightforward hairstyle, so there's not much I need to say about it anyways. So yeah, just enjoy this part of the time lapse. So now that I'm done with the sketches for the side view, I'm gonna show you how I color hair. So what I usually do first is I lower the opacity to the hair and I use a airbrush to color in the hair, usually a very dark color so that I can see where it is. So here, I'm gonna use the airbrush, and what I usually uh, have it heavy in the middle because that's where hair generally, that's the root of the hair, and then coming towards the area here, I usually just flick my wrist so that we have that whimsy kind of softer look. So you can see here, it already kind of makes sense. Also, at this point, you don't have to worry about getting the brush strokes in his hair, in his face, because it's going to create that structure. And that's one of the great things about this technique is that you don't have to worry about being so precise about your hair strokes. And yeah, it's going to create that softer effect towards the end of the hair for you. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use an eraser, a soft eraser, and I'm going to also put it on low opacity and kind of structure the hair how I would want it. So you can see here that it's already forming the shape, and I'm also gonna do that for this. And then you can see like there's this area here that has space. I love those spaces, so within a soft eraser I can easily make those lines look more natural. So yeah, I just go ahead and continue to erase those areas. Now you can already see that the hair is taking shape. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick the lightest color and use my watercolor at also another lower opacity, and I'm going to increase my correction here, maybe to 35 or something like that. Let's just go 32, so that I will have more control of the flicking. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do huge flicks like this. No, smaller. So I'm going to just flick it down. Flick. Usually the lines are more intricate, softer looking. Okay, I'm gonna flick again. Also remember that it's better to start, well, I'm not doing it right now, but it's good to start with the hair that is like at the bottom, so you kind of layer it on. Like for example here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to do this and just normally doing the flicking, flicking, flicking. However, you can see that there's this hair that overlaps it. So I'm gonna first do all of the hair that is already down like this, and then I'm going to put that on top so that it can look like it's overlapping. So look, I'm gonna overlap it, so then now I don't have to worry about erasing anything. Sometimes I just like to play around with it like this and leave some of these like spaces here because it looks more flimsy. I think I like that flimsy look. You can see now it's starting to take structure, and it's looking much more organized than the other side. So I'm just going to fix that up later. But now I'm just going to do teeny tiny strokes, very thin, light opacity strokes to create the different strands of hair and to create more texture as well. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing throughout the whole head of hair to make it look more soft. I like that look. Soft, flimsy look. Huh. So I'll just quickly fast forward this and finish off the other side of the hair. So now that I'm done, I'm gonna be creating the shadows for the different sections of the hair. And first, I'm gonna start off with the little M, a little umbrella of shadows for the hair. And I'm usually going to clean it up and be a little bit more precise with it, since it starts off and really shapes the bangs for this specific hairstyle. Then I'm just going to airbrush the black color onto the middle part and at the ends of the hair and different areas where the shadows might really fall upon the hair. Now that I'm done, I'm just gonna color pick from the middle part of the hair and have the different strokes fall down according to the flow of the hair, rather than having to do each strand individually. I like to make large strokes when sectioning it off, just like this. And then later on, I can add the more intricate details later. So yeah. Once I'm done with doing all of that, I like to start from the bottom going up because, like I mentioned earlier, it's the overlapping idea of hair, so I don't have to erase anything. So I'm just going to have the different strands stroke upwards or downwards depending on the direction or the flow of the hair. And that's really about it. Just kind of making little details into the different bigger sections. It goes a long way instead of having to really draw each strand by hand, which I did before, and it was tiring and it was honestly a chore to do. So I'm just gonna continue to add little darker strokes at the beginning and at the end of each bigger section, but I will leave the middle area bare, kind of like a highlight. However, I still add little highlighted strands here and there to really give it that pop of color to make it shine a little bit more, just like I'm doing now. Just using a lighter color and just going like how I would with a normal stroke. So yeah, that's kind of the whole process. There's not much to it really. And I'm just going to fast forward this part a little bit so that I can show you a little bit more of the other time lapses of the hair coloring. Now that I'm done, I occasionally also like to add hair textures just like this. I just use a default brush on Medibang and I'm just creating different strokes to create highlight. I usually only do this to create highlight. I don't really do it for anything else. And yeah, that's basically it for the hair rendering in grayscale because I'm going to be adding color now. So after I very much quickly decide on a hair color, I'm going to create another layer on top of the original hair layer, and then I'm going to have it under the blending mode of add, and then I'm going to airbrush a lighter color onto it, like for example in this case blue. So I'll use like maybe baby blue, sky blue, something like that, and then using a smudge tool I'm going to just drag out that airbrush onto the flow of the hair and also create like different highlights, different strands of highlights, and that's about it really, because I try not to go overboard with this because it can look like too much is happening all at once, especially for this style of hair. So yeah, that's all I do for my hair rendering process. So now I'm gonna show you the time lapses of all the other hair rendering that I did today. So yeah, that's how I render hair, and I hope that you found it at least a little bit helpful because everybody has been asking me to make longer tutorials. So yeah, here's a much longer tutorial on rendering hair. So I hope that you are able to pick up a few tips or tricks along the way to be able to help you with your digital art journey. And also before that, I just want to let you know that these two headshots, like the front view and the side view, they are free for you to download to practice on, not to steal, to practice on for your digital art. And I'll probably have more of them in the future, but for now, just click the link in the description to get them, to download them, and to practice on them. And if you're ever gonna post it, just let me know, tag me so I can see them. And also, I recently created a Patreon, and I would be so glad if you're able to support me there as well so that I could make more content that is not from a phone, but instead properly recorded. But if you are okay with the phone recordings as well, these kind of tutorials, then I would be glad to make more of them for the time being while I'm still trying to get a new laptop. But yeah, that's about it for this video, and I hope you guys have a great day. And let me know in the comments what you want to see next, I guess, because I don't really have any original ideas. So let it rip. And yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Bye.